Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat. I'm a keynote speaker and the host of this Daisy Jones and the Six Rewatch podcast. When I speak, my topic is something I call Take the Doughnut. It's another way to say carpe diem. It's all about going after the things you want in life. Something that I want to do this year is rewatch Daisy Jones and the Six and talk about it with other people. And I will admit, I've only ever seen this solo. I haven't really gotten a chance to talk with people about it before. So I'm changing that now. I want to have conversations with people who like this show and see what else that unearths for me. So this podcast episode here, this is an introduction. I'm going to attempt to tell you a little bit more about myself, a little bit more about what to expect. But also, if you've never seen the show and you're trying to decide if this is the right place for you, let me give you a little background on the show to start with. So Daisy Jones and the Six, this is based on a book by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this show basically chronicles a fictional band of the 1970s, from how they started to their final really big show in 1977 and what led to their demise. And the framing device of this show is that we're looking back at all of this from some point in the future where the band members and people closely connected with the band are being interviewed about their experiences. So if you remember from the book, if you haven't read the book is a lot about people being sort of unreliable narrators and, having their own interpretation of events through their own lens. So the show shows you that as well. We're getting interviews with people as they look back on what happened, and they're sharing their point of view, but then we're also getting a chance to see the show tell us a version of the truth. So if you're interested in 1970s Fleetwood Mac-esque bands, if you are interested in the music of that era, the fashion of the era, if you want to see LA during that time, this is going to be a really fun show for you to dig into because it's a period piece ultimately. Also, great acting. We get Riley Keough as Daisy Jones. We get Sam Claflin as Billy Dunn. We get the whole band, right? We get Suki Waterhouse, Will Harrison. We get Sebastian Chacon, Josh Whitehouse. We get Camila Morone, who is, there's a whole bunch of fun love stuff happening in this show. We also get a character like Nabia Bay, who is this wonderful character who brings in a disco element to the show. One of my favorite actors as well, Timothy Olyphant, makes an appearance in the show. He's actually in quite a bit of the show. So that's an element that I enjoy very much. I will say that two of my all-time favorite actors somehow both landed in this show, in Sam Claflin and Timothy Olyphant. So this will be a fan zone for Sam Claflin and Timothy Olyphant. Look, I am a big believer in deep dives. I will share things that I'm critical about and things that I'm a fan of. So I will listen to viewpoints that are not my own. I will take it all in, but I'm probably going to be fairly effusive about those actors. Just heads up for that. So that's a little bit about the world of Daisy Jones and the Six. The show, this came out in 2023 through Amazon. It's 10 episodes. It's a limited run series, so you're going to get a complete story across those 10 episodes. It's not a very long time for us to find all our people to talk about this with. So if you're getting to this in real time, if you've watched this drop the podcast episodes are still airing, then this is a great time to go tell the people that you know that love Daisy Jones and the Six, hey, there's a Daisy Jones and the Six podcast happening, because then we can get more conversation going about it. I think there was some expectation that there might have been a little bit more than the 10 episodes of the show that we were about to get when they released this. The actors, especially the actors in the band, had been preparing for this like a real band. They performed the songs. They performed all the songs in the show. They were a real band. But when this was released, we then got the writer's strike and the actor strike, and timing wise, things just did not work out for any more than the 10 episodes of the show that we got. This is our chance to have the conversations that we want to have and to sort of reinvigorate the conversation around Daisy Jones and the Six. In terms of format of these podcasts, this is a YouTube only podcast. I don't have an audio only version to share with you. It's all going to be on YouTube. So look for it here. The really good advantage of that is that one of the reasons I wanted it to be that way is that we get to talk about it. So there's a comment section in every YouTube video. So if you have thoughts put them in the comment section. If there's things that you want to analyze, if there are questions you want to ask, I will pose questions on each episode as well, things that I'm wondering about. That's a chance for you to put a comment into YouTube if you want to do that. And at any point in the future, somebody could respond to you and it could become an active conversation that you have with another fan of the show. And I don't even have to be involved in that part. You get to just talk with whoever. So that is one of the great advantages. We get to meet fans of the show from all over the world. One of the reasons I love that so much, let me tell you a little bit about me. So I've done a couple other show podcasts. Most recently, I've done a podcast for the show Halt and Catch Fire, which also came out in, well, the mid 2010s. And that show, I did deep dives on every episode. I mean, we're talking hours for each episode, which you could probably expect for this one too. And I also ended up doing about 70 interviews with different members of the cast and crew, which was so far exceeded my expectations of what was possible for that. But I'm hoping to do something I'd like to try to get something similar done for this show as well. We'll see what uptake there is, but I've already got a couple of interviews and I'm hoping that as the enthusiasm around this grows, I can get some more. So after we do the 10 episode deep dives, hopefully I'll be able to drop some more subject matter based podcasts and some interviews as well, like I did with Halt and Catch Fire. I've also, before that, I had done my first ever podcast about a show was about the show Felicity. That was audio only, and I did that with a friend of mine named Fish. So that was a fun one too. So I have some experience podcasting about shows. I tend to do really long podcasts. So if you want to hear somebody talk about the show for a good long time, this is the place to be. In terms of the format itself, so today, obviously, we are doing an announcement. Next week, I'd still like to get a little more runway so we can all get more people who love the show to come to this podcast. So next week, I'm going to be dropping all of these on Mondays. Next week's is going to be more about raising some questions and getting some questions from you that you want me to explore during the deep dive. I'd love for you to clue me into things that you really want me to be on the lookout for. You don't want me to overlook those details as we go through, so I can have that in my mind as I'm getting into the episodes. And then starting the week of March 17th, we'll start doing episode recaps. We'll do all 10. And then after that, I'll hopefully have some additional bonus episodes and material that will unfold as we get there. One of the things, because this is a relatively short run, I'm not planning on integrating audience feedback into the deep dive episode recaps, but I would love for you to share your feedback on each episode because I will be gathering that. And I would love to be able to have some feedback podcasts, maybe based around certain questions or just things in general that I wanted to bring up. So just know that if you have a thing that you want to share about the show, I may very well use it for a feedback episode later, but just not during the first 10 episode recaps. With that in mind, please jump into the comments. What the great thing about this is being able to hear from fans of this show from anywhere, but what they think about this show. I love talking about shows and TV because we all have different perspectives we bring to it. There's no one right way to look at a show, and we bring our own personal life experiences to however we interpret a show, an episode, or a movie. And that's the beauty of it. So I actively encourage your interpretations. There is no one right way to look at this. I just ask that we all be respectful, especially if you know that sometimes people are making comments attached to their own personal experiences. I want this to be a safe space for comments, so I will be very quick to remove comments that don't respect other people. But I think we can all show appreciation for all our different interpretations of this show and have some fun conversations along the way. That is what's ahead for us. I am so excited to start these conversations. Again, next week, it's just going to be about some questions, and then get ready. Start looking for where and how and when you're going to watch this show. Start nudging the people that you know that love this show. Get them to come to this community because this is our chance to really have a real-time conversation with each other. And if you're coming to this long after I've finished recording episodes in this podcast, well, Welcome whenever you get here. So be on the lookout for, future YouTube videos coming out on this channel in this playlist. I am so excited to have this conversation with you. And please, everybody, go out there and watch Daisy Jones and the Six. Bye.